Welcome to Anchored at Harbor Park CrossFit, a show dedicated to helping you find enrichment for the other 23 hours of your day outside of the gym. Here's your hosts, Jason, Dave, and Corian.
Howdy doody.
Hello.
How's it going?
Howdy.
We're back for episode 8.
Yep.
Today we're going to talk about sleep.
Yay.
Which I think all three of us desperately need.
Yes.
We are all running on E right now.
But we're going to keep it upbeat. So to get us in the swing of things, I got an icebreaker today for you guys. Again, this would be funny if you guys said the same thing, but I really don't think you will. And if you did, it's just weird. Who was actor for me, your teen crush for an actress?
Oh boy. I have no idea.
Really?
I got mine.
You can go.
So mine was Sandra Bullock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. There's just something about her.
Huh.
Still something about her.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
I was trying to think like what my favorite movie is, and then who? I think Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, I loved her in that.
Yeah.
So yours?
I was just like my teen years before.
Yeah, let's go with teen years.
Yeah, before it got weird. I loved Backstreet Boys, so
So which one?
AJ, I guess. But still,
Nice.
yeah, that's about it.
All right.
All
so
right.
sleep.
Now the weirdness is over. Get to talking.
At least you guys didn't say the same thing. Again, age difference. I was hoping you wouldn't. So
No, Sandra Bullock and Speed. I don't know why.
I don't think I've seen that.
You've seen Speed.
Really?
The bus with the bomb on it, they had to maintain this certain speed for a long distance. No?
I've seen
With
it.
Keanu
I think
Reeves.
I've heard of it, but
Wow.
all right, let's talk about sleep. So, the first thing we get to is why we need sleep. Why is it so important?
Recharge,
Yeah.
recover.
So basically, there's a few different things that happen when you don't sleep. Well, like you said, sleep is the primary time for our body to kind of reboot. It starts as rebuilding. If you've been working out and you need to rebuild your muscles, it resets your hormones. It rejuvenates like your cognitive function. Okay, so when we skip on sleep, all these things start to get worse and worse and worse. It's in the gym, so much of what we do has a mental aspect as well as a physical, and it totally detracts on both of those. So like if you're doing a complex movement and you're sleep deprived, you're totally going to tell that it's just harder. It's like doesn't seem like it's working as well. You're not going to have the energy, so heavy weights are going to feel heavier. All that stuff. When you get into hormones, like you're going to start seeing imbalances. And
I think so many people realize days that they're off and they just don't feel right, but I don't think they ever put it together that it's because of sleep. Because I think as a culture, we're very sleep deprived, and that's just kind of the norm, and it's, working longer hours, first early bird gets the worm, like all those things. So I think people sacrifice sleep a lot.
Yep.
And here's the thing. Like a lot of people think they're sleeping really well, and they're not sleeping good at all. So they think they're doing it right. So like a great example I heard was generally for like every hour you sleep, only about a half hour is quality sleep. Maybe a little bit more. So like if you're sleeping for 8 hours a night, you're really only getting like 4 or 5 quality hours of sleep.
Yeah. We talked about this before too. In one of our early episodes, it talked about, getting that actual good sleep. I know I'm terrible. I toss and turn. I'm up in the middle of the night. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if, I can't turn things off. Dave hits the pillow and he's out in like 5 minutes. And I'm over there like twiddling my thumbs going crazy because I just don't do that. And I know that I need to figure it out.
Yeah. And then it can get to the point where my family has sleep apnea. And I might actually have this where like you think you're sleeping, but your body kind of like stops breathing.
Yep.
And then it puts all 100% of its focus on keeping you alive by like trying to do everything you can to get minimal like breaths just to keep you functioning. It stops doing all the other stuff like recovery and rejuvenation.
Yeah.
So even though you're sleeping for 8 hours, you still wake up feeling like you only slept like for like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Like you said, if you think you're sleeping, you're probably not.
Yeah.
Like I'll wake up, or I don't even remember who it was yesterday we were talking. Somebody said, I feel like I sleep and I'm awake, but I'm sleeping. And then we were talking about that. I was like, well, then you're really not sleeping because you're actually awake.
Right.
But you would think you're sleeping. So that's not quality sleep.
I know you've read a lot of books, Jay. Is it good to have a lot of dreams, or is it not? Like, is that not as good as sleep?
I think deep sleep is like one stage past when you're dreaming. So I think if you are dreaming, that means you're getting into a quality sleep. But I think the best sleep is what you don't have dreams at that point.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure.
I'd like to look that up. That'd be something interesting. Because I can wake up and I tell Dave all the time, I have like 3 or 4 dreams a night, like, and I can remember them. And
I
just feel like I'm tossing.
I don't remember any.
Yeah.
And I think that's because, like I said, the sleep apnea, I don't think I'm getting at like really any quality sleep throughout the night. And then sometimes I do, and it's really memorable. Then it's like, holy cow, like I actually dreamt last night.
Yeah. So when you're not getting a lot of sleep, actually training is very detrimental. It's not good when you're sleep deprived to train. I think we might have mentioned this too, but we've had a couple members who have been pretty tired, and they come in and we're like, no, don't train today. You're not going to do your body any favors.
Right. Well, there's 2 reasons. One is you're just super like blah and fatigued. You might do something stupid and hurt yourself. You're trying to lift too heavy, and you don't have like the effort to get in the right positions or something like that. You're just a little bit more lazy than normal, and something slips. Or, your hormones are already out of balance. You can push them further out of whack.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, attacks your central nervous system.
So, and then I brought this up in a blog a while back. So CrossFit has its pyramid of like the what's it called? Where it's like nutrition on the base.
Yeah.
For the hierarchy for an athlete, like the athlete's needs.
Yeah.
So nutrition's the base. Metcon, so like endurance is second. Then it's gymnastics, then weightlifting, and then sport. And I argued that, and I think if they looked at it again now,
they'd redo it.
I don't know if they redo it, but they incorporate it somehow where sleep is like as equal as nutrition, if not more important. Because like you said, you can be doing everything right when it comes to like training and diet and still be plateauing. And the reason could be because you're not sleeping right.
I just got an email and it said, if you compared yourself to a very similar athlete, like, so if I took another female and I just molded me, same weight, same background, same experience, eating the same food, training the same, doing everything the same, but that person's sleeping and I'm not, I'm only working at 80% of my capacity compared to them. So that person's going to beat you every time. So sleep is on my agenda to fix.
So we're giving you permission to sleep.
Yes. Get that sleep, whether it's, like we talked about last time with Sarah Sigmund's daughter. She takes a nap in the middle of the day to kind of recharge. Sorry.
They're actually doing studies that show like a 20-minute nap is more effective than a cup of coffee for like rejuvenation.
My dad, a couple years ago, for a while, was doing power naps throughout the day, and he is a big fan of a power nap. Power naps are less than 20 minutes.
Right.
So.
Yeah, think about like Google is like the leading company in the world in terms of like innovation.
They have sleep pods.
And they have pods where their employees can go sleep. Like, that's normal in their culture.
Sorry, Odin wants something really bad.
Sleep is huge.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the reason why people are suffering from it is because their mind is thinking and overly working. So you can't get to the point where you can just relax. And we're seeing this more and more with sleep apnea, with people that need sleep medication. You see them all over the place, whereas maybe 15, 20 years ago it wasn't so prominent. Excuse me. And sleep has always been very important. It's important to our training. It's important to your health and longevity, but it's really become an issue now, and I think a lot of it has to do with cell phones, social media.
Overstimulation.
Yeah, overstimulation of the brain. And so then, what do most people do when they come home from work and they're trying to wind down? They're watching the news, they're flipping through the channels, or they're flipping through their cell phones on Instagram or Facebook, and they're reading all the stories. What do we get before bedtime? Usually my phone starts going off because of all the fist bumps. So people are on their phone, fist bumping. Doesn't mean don't fist bump, just means maybe we should take a look at what we're doing with the cell phones. And there are some studies out there that say that the blue light will affect your melatonin levels in your body.
Yeah, I think too, also you got to think we're a culture of ADHD and other issues where people feel that they can't function, or people are drinking caffeine all day. And so there's quite a few members that are not only do they have medications that get them going through the day, but then those keep them up, so now they have sleep meds. And it's well, do you really need that? Or if you started eliminating the medication that is keeping you going during the day, would you then sleep better? You know what I mean? It's like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some tips and tricks to help you fall asleep faster, and then B, sleep better throughout the night.
Okay.
Don't let your bulldog sleep in the same room as you as they snore.
So one thing that I do is I won't drink coffee after 1 p.m. That's something I've done. I was having problems with sleeping last month, so I was trying to figure out why, because I'd wake up, I'd go to sleep soundly, I felt, and then I'd wake up wide awake at 3 a.m., and then I'd lay there for about an hour. And I was like, what is going on? I have to figure this out. So I started just kind of thinking about it, and I was realizing I was having coffee later in the afternoon. Just that, 1 cup, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., and then I'd go coach. But I felt like that would mess me up a little bit, so I stopped it, and now I won't do any coffee after 1 p.m. And that's helped. That's one tip.
One thing I always tell people is it's kind of like a lot of people have a morning routine. You should have a nighttime routine. And the focus of that nighttime routine should be to wind your mind down, so it's been running on full blast all day long, and then you're trying to jump right into bed, and your mind's still racing.
Yeah.
So you need to wind it down, trigger it to say, okay, now we're getting ready for bed. Let's start going to sleep now. A couple of things that really help. One is meditation.
Yes.
5-10 minutes. There's a ton of apps that help you do it. B, reading a book. I think if you have a Kindle, they have a special setting that
Our
will.
favorite train is coming.
Oh, man.
A Kindle will have a setting that gets rid of the blue light.
Yeah.
Third is rolling out with a lacrosse ball or a foam roller, and what that does is it kind of tells your body it gets into a state of recovery, and it starts letting go of some of those hormones that trigger your mind to start shutting down. So those are a couple of really good things that you can do 10 minutes, 15 minutes before sleep to have a better, easier attempt at falling asleep.
One of the things too, and I think this is one of those things that is kind of, you should know it, but going to bed at the same time every day. I think one of the biggest things that people do when you work a Monday through Friday job is then Friday and Saturday, you're trying to fit things in. People go out or they do things. So now they're throwing their entire schedule off. And so they're staying out till whenever. And so it takes them several days to get back on track. And now the week's almost already over again. So I know that, a lot of people that we follow and look up to now, it doesn't matter, weekend or whatever, they go to bed at the same time, they wake up at the same time.
Yeah, I think that was one thing that you and I, Corian, have gotten into is even just keeping that same schedule, whether you fall asleep, but just start winding down, like Jason said. You want to try to get in that habit. It's just like exercise. You want to get in a habit of making that part of your day and plan.
And here's
sleep
another.
Has to be the same.
Here's another thing is a little off track, but it doesn't matter when you go to sleep. You should get up at the same time every day so that you're actually tired again at night.
Yeah.
If you stay up later and you say, okay, I'll sleep for an extra 3 hours, that's an extra 3 hours before you start winding down again. So then, like you said, your next day's going to be off track already.
Yep, absolutely. So getting into a routine, going to bed at the same time. One of the things that Dave and I always use from our past life and now is blackout curtains and or anything else that you can block that light so that those early morning rays don't start waking you up. If that's not something, Jay, you wake up so early, I don't think that's an issue for you.
But still, there's street lights now, that never used to be an issue.
Right.
So that's the other part. When you're sleeping, in order to make you have the best sleep as possible, totally black. Like they say you shouldn't even bring your phone in your room. And if you use it for your alarm, do not keep it by your bed, because there's studies that show like harmful radiation if you keep it on like your bedpost. So that's going to like kind of mess your head up in terms of like, radiation, cancer type stuff. So keep it far away. I keep it like on the other end of my room. B, that forces you to wake up and stand up to turn it off if you have a bad habit of hitting snooze. So that kind of makes you get out of bed.
That's me.
So no light. Like we talked about this before, Blair has put cardboard all over his wall.
And that's just because he can't afford the blackout.
Right, yeah. But so it's totally pitch
Where
black.
there's a will, there's a way.
You want it cold.
Yep.
So like under 60 degrees, I believe.
Under 66, I think.
Yeah.
That might even be. Yeah, you're supposed to sleep when it's cold, where it makes you want to get under the covers. This is another thing am fighting. We'll say. I'm trying to be positive.
I can't go to sleep if it's hot. I need
Neither
it
can
cold.
I.
Yeah.
White noise.
Yeah, no sound.
Yep. So Dave and I use a fan in our room because we have the 2 dogs. They don't sleep in our bed, thank God. I am not one of those people. I do not want my dog in my bed. But they do sleep on the floor. Both of them are on my side. And a fan definitely helps. I can tell the nights that we forget to turn it on, or I think we lost power one time in the summer, and like neither one of us could sleep because they were loud. So we used that. But I think Dave just bought white noise.
Yeah, there's basically white noise machines. Yeah,
It's kind of funny because you either need them or you don't. Like when I hear white noise, I'm just like wide awake. Like
Yeah, we're gonna test it and see.
Some
I've never
people
tried.
really like
Right,
noise. It's up to you, but I know a lot of people are like, I can't sleep without a fan on. And I don't turn the fan on me. I just turn it away. I just need the noise. I just need noise to fall asleep.
Right.
Because I
He also-
can't fall asleep to like dead sound.
Yeah.
But
He also does earplugs
That's
because
the
he's
dogs.
such a light sleeper and because of the dog snoring. So those are some things that, we've tried. Again, just like everything else, some things are going to work for you, some things aren't. I've never tried the white noise thing.
Yeah.
I've never tried to sleep with no TV.
So that was another topic. We talked about cell
Yeah.
phones and then TVs.
Yeah.
I know everybody that has a TV in their bedroom on their
that's like a boundary thing. Like sleep experts say, like bedroom is 100% only for sleep. Don't put anything in there that is not sleep related.
Yep.
Which in today's modern age is not a lot of people.
Which is funny that,
Do that.
kind of a tangent, but talking about boundaries. So Dave, when we wake up and we work from home, we have the office, but Dave likes to use the pass-through and he stands. Obviously, we can only one of us be in the office at a time, but I got a stand-up desk in there, so that's been helping. But he said something one day and was like, why don't you just grab your computer and come do that out here while you're doing it? Nope. The office is where I work, and that's it. I'm not going to bring it anywhere else in the house if I can help it. But I agree that that's perfect with sleep, too. Like, some people have these large bedrooms and they have sitting areas and they don't have all this. I'm like, what do you need all that in a bedroom?
Yeah.
So,
Yep. And then like Jason touched on it before, he said meditation is good to help calm the mind. So I've been, obviously this was on a previous episode, I said I've been doing a lot of meditation. It's part of my morning routine every day, 10, 15 minutes. And then for sleeping, if I find myself waking up now, I go through the meditation steps, and then I find like as I'm doing it, I just fall right back to sleep because usually wake up, my mind's racing or it's thinking about things. Why am I awake right now? It's dark, and then I just start going through the meditation sequence, and I can fall back to sleep. So that's another calming way.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I've always been like, as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm out. And then I think it was like last week or the week before, I had that experience where I couldn't turn my mind off. And I was like, oh, now I see what people are dealing with when they have this.
Yeah, it's so lucky. I wouldn't know what it was like to not have this just running constantly.
So another thing that we've been trying is we talked about melatonin levels being low. That is something you can purchase over the counter. They do sell melatonin at any drugstore. And our part of our nighttime routine is to take our fish oils, take our magnesium, which also helps you sleep. I take my nighttime UR, and then I also take 9 milligrams. So they're 3 milligrams each. I know Blair does 2.5, so he takes 10 milligrams, but I do 9 milligrams every night of melatonin. It just helps you like calm down and go to sleep.
Yep.
You know, I don't wake up groggy like a lot of people ask that. So ZQL, I've tried that before, back when I was on a third shifter.
Then you wake up and
you have that medicine head, like, oh, I can't, it takes you so long. But melatonin, you don't have that effect because it's natural in your body. Your body produces it.
So, and then with that, then when you get up, for those that don't hit snooze like me, you want to get up and get moving, and you want to get light then as much as you can. So open the windows, turn on the lights, whatever it is if it's winter, because you want to flush that melatonin out of your system.
Right.
And you do that by being in light,
Right.
so that you can wake up.
And the blue light of the cell phone, they say, is actually good when you wake up for that purpose.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a really cool alarm clock thing now that Corey and I were actually talking about. It actually slowly gets brighter, and it's supposed to wake you up.
And like the alarm slowly like gets louder.
So there's two
louder.
things. Yeah, we use an alarm now that does that. It's like birds chirping, and it just slowly gets up. But the one he's saying is a light, and what it is like, so say I want to be up at 7 a.m. At 6:30, it's going to light up, and it's going to be like a sunrise in your room, so that it's optimal that the light is where you want it to be to wake up at 7. So it actually starts waking up at 6:30, if 7's when you want to be up. So we're going to look into it. I think that Ben Bergeron had it on. Matt Fraser got it.
Yep.
Him and then Katrin. It's what they said it's just life changing. I'm thinking it's pretty expensive though, to be honest. So we'll see
We'll have
if
to
we
look
get
into
that.
But
So.
yeah, one thing Go ahead.
Not to interrupt you, but another thing that I'm realizing now is the air quality.
Yeah.
So my next door neighbor, or not next door, but the tenant above us in the apartment above us has a cat, and she smokes. And I have asthma. And the other night, like I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like wheezing, I could hardly breathe. And now I'm realizing like the air quality is now causing me not to be able to breathe again, now getting back into sleep apnea.
Yep.
And my body's working so hard just to breathe while I'm sleeping. Like I woke up and I felt like I did not sleep at all.
That's why a lot of people say come spring when they start opening their windows, same thing. If they have allergies, they actually can't sleep as well. I'm oddly the exact opposite. And some people might not know this. AC actually makes me not sleep. I can't. It's something about the quality of air. It dries out my throat.
Well, I think it's just reused air. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't ever feel.
So come summer when Dave wants the AC on, I'm trying to sleep. I struggle because again, I get it. He wants to be cooler, but I feel like I can't breathe, and so humidifiers and scents or whatever.
Yeah. So sleep
Always
is
something you can
important. How much do we sleep, Jason? Is it a third of our life?
Yeah.
I mean, so
well, you're like 8 hours a day. I guess we should talk about that. How much should we actually sleep a day?
we
Like
didn't hit that.
Yeah, that's a pretty big thing.
Sorry. So how much should we be getting? I aim for 6 to 7.
Right. Like if the optimal is 8 quality hours, and there's a spectrum, right? So if you need to perform at 100% of your capabilities, you need to get more like 10 quality hours.
A games athlete.
Yep. Or if it's like anything, like if you're a musical performer or whatever, you need more. If you are doing something like manual labor or something less mentally exhausting or less physically exhausting, so something a little more blue collar or something, you can get away with less.
Yeah, which I always thought was funny. This is going back to my past life. So, past life with being a police officer, right? They used to say, obviously we arrest drunk drivers.
Oh yeah, this is good.
Sleep deprivation they say is even worse than drunk drivers, right? So our cops, and a lot of people don't know this, is they get forced for working 16 hours because labor laws don't pertain to police departments. So our police officers, men and women out there, are getting forced to work sometimes back to back. Corianne, I remember, would work a third shift. Oh, you're staying. Now she has to, so now her whole clock is messed up because she's used to going to sleep. Never get in a routine.
I used to sleep for an hour in my car.
Yeah. Just terrible, terrible conditions. And then these people are expected to perform, life or death situations and make those split-second decisions. And then they're guessed upon when they make a bad decision or
villainized.
I mean, truck drivers can't physically work and drive on the road for more than 8 hours. 8 hours they can drive on the road. They can work up to 11 if it's like in the warehouse or loading or unloading or something like that. But driving hours, they can't. They have timers on their trucks. They have all this because it's so dangerous, especially with them in the big semis and everything. So it's amazing that we are pushing our bodies to these limits. And like you said, these jobs that are so mentally exhausting, it's okay, and this is the norm. It's funny that you say mentally exhausting because as much as I do love the gym, doing consults there and coaching, there's days I'm sure that everybody feels they get home and you're just like, I coached today. It doesn't seem that much, but I am mentally just drained.
Yeah, because you're giving 100%.
Yeah, which is a good thing, but definitely need that recovery then for all of those reasons, and if you're ever, we talked about this in a workout, you need to be mentally cognizant of making these decisions and understanding what's going around, because if you're ever in a life or death situation, so sleep goes along with that. At what point, are you going to maybe not make a good decision and, drop or do something or because you're just sleep deprived.
So the bottom line is to get yourself into a nighttime habit, right?
Yeah.
Let's get into a habit, make that, just like your daily habits of training. You like to come to that 4:30 p.m. class every day, make sleep part of your habit so that, you can recover, recharge your battery, just like you got to recharge your cell phone every night. Mm-hmm. You got to recharge your body's batteries. And we talked about optimal levels of sleep, so between, we would say 6 to 10, anywhere in there of quality.
And of course, so we care very much about what we do, but we're not concerned with that peak performance, the top 1%.
Yeah.
Right.
So we sacrifice a little bit of sleep so that we can do more in our day.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a trade-off.
Right.
But when it comes to optimal levels, 6 to 8, I'd say is a minimum.
Yep.
And then remember, like I said before, if you're only sleeping 6 hours, you're only getting like 60% of that is good sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if we want 6 to 8 quality hours, it's really like 8 to 10 hours.
Yep. So get in that routine, shut those cell phones off, stop flipping through the channels.
Yep, try to make your room as quiet and dark as you can. If
Use
you need
the noise
if you
makers
need white noise, turn that on.
And I challenge people to, because a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm fine. I sleep fine. Everything, like I work just fine off of 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Again, like eating, when we don't eat enough, we just get used to that. We feel like that's the norm. So if you're not getting enough sleep, but you think you're fine, I just challenge you, just try it. Give yourself 2 weeks of getting up, better sleep, more hours, turning those phones off and everything else, and just, can it be better?
Right.
Can it be better than it was?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and if you're awake more and you're not getting in that routine, you technically have to eat more because you need to fuel your body. But food isn't going to replace what sleep can give you. But that's another.
That is a good point. When you're sleep deprived, you definitely eat more.
You have to.
Yep.
But.
All right, I think we should go sleep.
Yeah, I'm ready for a nap. I know Odin's ready for a nap. He's been at Grandma's house all day playing with her puppies, so he is exhausted, which is probably why he's bugging us during this podcast. He wants to go.
All right, so get some sleep. Okay. It's important.
It's necessary.
So when you guys are feeling like crap and you're in the gym, and usually we ask you, well, how have you been eating? We're going to ask you, how have you been sleeping?
Yes.
So be ready to answer both those questions.
And it's the easiest fix.
Yep. All right.
All right,
guys. See you next
Bye.
week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Anchored at Harbor Park CrossFit. If you would like further information about our programs, visit www.harborparkcrossfit.com. We hope you'll tune in next time.